Doing it, doing it, doing it.
A fable of science and politics. In the time of the Roman Empire, civic life was divided between the blue and green factions. The blues and the greens murdered each other in single combats, in ambushes, in group battles, in riots. Procopius said of the warring factions, "So there grows up in them against their fellow men a hostility which has no cause, and at no time does it cease or disappear, for it gives place neither to the ties of marriage, nor of relationship, nor of friendship. And the case is the same even though those who differ with respect to these colors be brothers, or any other kin." One Edward Gibbon wrote, "The support of a faction became necessary to every candidate for civil or ecclesiastical honors." 2. Who were the blues and the greens? They were sports fans, the partisans of the blue and green chariot racing teams. Imagine a future society that flees into a vast underground network of caverns and seals the entrances. We shall not specify whether they flee disease, war, or radiation. We shall suppose the first undergrounders managed to grow food, find water, recycle air, make light and survive, and that their descendants thrive and eventually form cities of the world above. There are only legends written on scraps of paper, and one of these scraps of paper describes the sky, a vast open space of air above a great unbounded floor. The sky is cerulean in color and contains strange floating objects like enormous tufts of white cotton. But the meaning of the word cerulean is controversial. Some say that it refers to the color known as blue, and others that it refers to the color known as green. Perhaps some of the undergrounders remember seeing something else when they were very young. The original words used are uncertain, and translations are made from modern language into an artificial language, and then back into the original language, where there are discrepancies among translations. However, the translation into artificial language of the original text is sometimes better than the translation into modern language because artificial language has been matured in comparison with the original text. This is analogous to our human effort to describe scientific ideas, which are also thought by some to be better understood than if expressed in modern language. By the way, when people first fled into the tunnels of the underground, they called themselves surfers, and once in their underground network they called each other subdwellers. The usual sense of both words is the same.
Salah?
This was, if anything, even before the notion of being a dweller in the land of the surface, which has now entered our modern language, if only because many have lived their entire lives on the surface, but perhaps as explorers. Today in my society, I think it is right for us to think of surfers as well as surfers and surfaces to be dwellers in the land of the surface, because there's something good and alive about the part of us that floats upon the waves. The passage that I quote comes from an underground account of a modern writer's memory of her first glimpses of the surface, or from my own understanding of how one might write as well as one's understanding of how it is possible that some things happen exactly as the author stated them, though this author Might be remembering things which happened in their own fashion. Our sky has blue dots moving along through the sky in long lines that appear and vanish, or flutter, or roll, or even fly up and come back down again. Most of our knowledge of these objects is through pictures. Their luminosity appears blue when they are near the sun, and greenish farther away, or just farther up in the sky. Blue seems to mean colder, while green seems to mean hotter. But we don't know that it means hot, and when we look into the sky with powerful glasses, we find out that blue and green objects look very different to them. For when blue and green objects get to one edge of our sky, it is called midday. With powerful glasses, we see that a blue dot is the opposite of a green dot in intensity. What we call white is no longer either a dot or a streak. It looks much softer than both of these, but many of the pictures give us only these outlines of objects, nothing in the middle of them, which are, it seems to me, some kind of fin-like objects. See, picture 3. The sky we see from our time to time looks darker in a particular part of it when we see it from a position in the sky. For it's easy to make a mistake when you see a light far away. If you go far enough away, it isn't a dot anymore. When we see it from a certain kind of position in the sky, it appears as a flatness, more flat than our picture can represent. For this flatness moves across our sky at some particular rate. So we say, I cannot draw it, but the people who told me about it did all that I can do, shading pictures off at various heights. But my viewpoint is so high up in the sky that at some moments, with a telescope, we could see one moment where this flatness moved faster than normal. Perhaps that would change what they meant when they spoke about a dark blue hour, which is just before dawn in this part of the world. Certainly what it does now is turn black as midnight on any given day at this time of year. Many of us, without any instruction at all, feel an impulse to rise up high enough in the sky to look at one moment just as the sky goes from white to black.
No. Oh, yeah, okay, well, let me get the other one. Sometimes it feels the ending, even though my body doesn't really feel it's the ending. I'll go with my gut. Okay, hold on. Be right back.